evening and welcome to the Park and Recreation Commission regular meeting of Monday, February 4th, 2013. It is now called a meeting to order at 7:11 p.m. First item on the agenda is public forum. I don't see anyone here from the public, so we'll move on. Any questions or issues with respect to any of the staff and director reports that you received?
I had a question. For Ellen's, maybe you know Rick, she said spoke with a representative of New England Tennis Association about other possible funding for tennis facilities / programs. Can you tell me what that's about?
Well, we've applied for a grant from USTA, Ellen did, for the Gilbert High School tennis courts that we've been told we have to take out of our program account for making those repairs there. And I've written up some specs, and I'm ready to award to an engineering firm to design. We need an engineering firm to specify what we have to do with the tennis courts, what kind of paint and crack repair and so on. Ellen and I met with the two high school coaches and tennis coaches, and they have suggested there's the United States Tennis Association, but there's also the New England Tennis Association. So she was going to fill out a grant application from there. So we're applying to two different places to try to get some money to help us cover the cost for redoing those, resurfacing the tennis courts.
Okay.
Why do we cover the cost, but then the school doesn't help at all with the cost?
We're looking for them to come up with about half the cost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the grant would be for our half, or to offset our half?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that. At least offset the cost of the,
The total cost?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we, thank you for bringing that up, Judy, but that's absolutely, my position on this has been all along. I am willing to do what we have to do to repair the tennis courts, but a lot of what goes on there is tennis, and, used by both the girls and the boys' high school team at the tennis. So I think we got to talk to the AD and ask what kind of a contribution they'd be willing to make once we know what the final story is. Thanks, Judy. Correspondence. We've gotten some letters.
Just
Yeah. Well, basically,
It's a letter and a response. You want me to summarize it?
yeah, why don't you just summarize it rather than have me read them?
We'll talk later on the Chittenden Park project, but one of the letters was from Liza Petra from the Gilbert Foundation, Claire Kane and Eric Hammerling, both from the Connecticut Forest and Park Association, and I met with the subcommittee of the Gilbert Foundation board to try to seek some grant money for the Chittenden Park Boardwalk project. And so the letter that we got from Liza Petra from the Gilbert Foundation was that they were awarding us $10,000 over 3 years. So we get $3,000 now, basically, and I think it's $3,000 next year and then $4,000 the year after. And so that letter was saying that we're going to be getting that, and then I sent just a note back thanking them for their support of the project.
Is there some paperwork we were required to fill out?
I believe that the Connecticut Forest and Park Association do that because they were the actual applicants for the grant.
Okay, so
And,
this form that she sent along, or I have a
it was
copy
just-
up here, is going to be filled out by...
Yeah.
I think it's at the end of the project, isn't it?
Yeah, I think some
Says,
part of it is saying that, how you're publicizing it, you're going to acknowledge them and so on. It's basically signing off saying, yes, you're going to do this.
Yeah, right.
And we've, the Gilbert Foundation has been great with us. They gave us money for one or two of the kayaks up at Lake Quannapock and for fireworks the last couple of years. And, we fill out the paperwork and thank them, make sure they got publicity for it. And we're very thankful for that. And $10,000 it's a large grant for them to give us.
Yeah. Great.
Approval of minutes, number 4.
Make a motion to approve the minutes?
Well,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
abstain.
Correct. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of bills.
Did you all get them in the email? 'Cause we, I always bring copies, so you have a hard copy, here, but we also try to make sure you get them in advance.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Okay.
I did at least.
Yeah, it came on Friday.
What's the amount this month, Rick?
Bottom line is,
It's just not in the mail.
on page 3 at the bottom, 76,506. 27.
Okay, can I have a motion for the approval of the bills in the amount of $76,506.27?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Old business, Standing Fields Committee.
An update, the Long Hill Park drainage project is underway. We were hoping to have done that in the fall, but the ground was just so wet, we couldn't get to it. We had to wait till it froze up, and so they were out there during that week we had where it was in the, teens and low 20s. It's not finished, but they made I'd say it's about 85% completed. They were needed to still come back and apply sand to the slit drains, and then a few more drainage slits they got to put in there, but it's well underway. And, again, they had to wait till the ground got hard enough. Even then, they left some ruts out there, because even if they're cold weather, there's still water down in the trenches when they made the
3
trenches.
inches, I think you told me. Right?
Yeah.
Just 3 inches below the surface,
Yeah,
there was still
yeah,
water.
Still wet. This is why we need to do that project. But they'll get it done. They know they have to have it completed before April 1st. And the other thing is that the field committee's been working on a lot on is the fields project for the high school. In fact, I was at a meeting with them and the engineers and architects for about 2.5 hours this afternoon going over the whole plan. Just making sure that we got our input about, like, how do we access the fields. We talked about moving some gates so that we could get in with our equipment to mow the fields and go in with top dressing machines and so on. I spoke with them. One of the things I mentioned today that we kind of all forgot about was because we contract the trash removal, we've got to make sure the trash truck has a way to get down to these fields. And it's all going to be very different from what's there now. It's going to be a whole different setup. And so we've got to make sure we have access for all the things that we need to do and the other services that we provide, like the trash removal. So anyway, we met for a couple hours this afternoon, and I'm sure there'll be follow-up meetings, but it's moving along.
Did I read something about prefab concrete dugouts?
Yeah, it's one of the things they talked about today. Yeah.
I'm a little concerned about that.
They were talking about metal originally, and they went with, well, when I say went, so far it looks like the concrete is the way they're going to go as opposed to metal. And I guess the concrete versus wood, because it'll last a lot longer and it's cooler inside and there's no maintenance. But, these are all things that they were discussing this afternoon.
I would make a suggestion that you take a drive up to Coginchog. At the varsity softball field, they put in new concrete dugouts, and the girls absolutely hate them.
Really?
Because they're hot, there's no wind circulation because it's completely enclosed on the top, and there's no draft coming through. The advantage of it is, yes, it's sturdy and it'll last forever, but it's
Probably for graffiti.
it's uncomfortable for them to be in. But
I can bring that back to them.
but
Yeah, I'd like to go to that next meeting because I have, Daniel Hand has prefab dugouts.
they do for the girls' softball field as well.
And I'm not just from and I'm not worried about aesthetics. From a functional perspective, I think they're, putting bat racks in, getting water in there, getting the pipes in there to run the water for a fountain and stuff. It's just, I wasn't real pleased with what I saw, but I'm willing to discuss it with whoever.
Well, they're easy to construct. That's
Yeah.
that's the
These are
basic.
prefab.
They just
Yeah.
take it and they just set it
They
right down.
right down,
Yeah.
and they put a slab over the top, and that's it. You have
And
to
I'm
pour
concerned
some.
about, you got to put 15 kids and 3 or 4 coaches. The ones that Daniel
Right.
Hand are not long enough from my perspective. So you got kids hanging out outside the dugout. Okay, and then you have to put a fence in front of that.
They did. Todd Williams is Todd's
Yeah,
a baseball
yeah.
guy, and he was at
Yep,
the
he
meeting.
knows what he's
and,
doing, too.
And Jake was there, and Chip, and they did talk about making it bigger than whatever they were originally planning for exactly what you just said. That the teams
Yeah,
have
okay.
not half, but several of them have to
I
stay
trust
outside.
Todd, so maybe I'll just keep quiet until we find out that we've got a problem.
I have a question about the fields. I don't know whether they considered it, but, or whether you even know, is the adventure course gonna stay where it is?
I'm not sure, Judy, we weren't talking about that, because we were talking about just the
I
fields.
just wondered if that came up.
I know it has in the past, I've heard it in conversations, whether it's in the same location, I'm not sure. I think it's still gonna be there somewhere, but I don't know if it's right where it is now, I don't know. I know that has been addressed, though, but it's not really in the field committee's responsibility.
I just would hate to see it taken down and then not put up, because it is an awesome
Yeah,
part of the curriculum at the high school, and we worked so hard to clear the fields and get the
Yeah.
poison ivy out, et cetera, at that location. So it would be a shame if they just took it down to meet the new. But if you, I know you don't know, I'm just
I think it's
curious.
still in there somewhere, because I remember hearing it in
Sure
some
it
other
is.
conversation, but not with the field committee, though.
Okay.
Rick, just a question to go back on Long Hill. That field's going to be playable in time for high school
That was
baseball?
in the contract with the contractor, where, yes, they have to have it ready by April 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we should talk a little bit, since we're talking about fields, about the meeting we had with all the youth groups and some of what's been discussed. And, you know, you ran the meeting, so go ahead, and then I'll add my 2 cents if I have to.
Okay, well, just because we have a lot of new members or newer members, every year we have a meeting in January, February for all the spring field users, and then in July or August for all the fall field users, which includes the high school athletic director and then all the youth sports. So we had senior baseball, Little League, lacrosse, and soccer, and Jake, the athletic director, and Ralph was here for Legion, and as representing the commission. And we kind of let them know what fields are available. Phil makes a list of all the dimensions of the different soccer fields and lacrosse fields, so they know, okay, this is going to be a small field, this is a big field. If there are any fields we're shutting down because of renovations, which there aren't any this spring, we let them know that, say, well, this field's not available. And then we have to kind of divvy out who has what field when, because some of them are multi-use, like Chittenden, for example, is a soccer field, but also Little League needs some time there. You can't have both at the same time. One of the fields at Upper Cox is lacrosse and soccer, so we kind of, assign, for example, soccer maybe has Monday, Wednesday, Friday, lacrosse is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday or something.
Because of parking?
Not so much just because of parking, but they all need so many fields, and so we have to divvy them up as best we can so everybody has some equitable use of the fields. Some are, like, all of Leet is just soccer, and nobody else plays there. Nut Plains is just lacrosse, nobody else plays there. So we kind of divvy all that up. But we also talked about, after mid to late June this year, the high school project is right now scheduled to start around then. So none of those fields back there are going to be available. No softball fields in the summer. The baseball field won't be, and Field 4, which is a practice, or actually it's a lacrosse field. It's a lower practice football field, but it's a lacrosse field in the spring. And Field 5 back there was a soccer field, so they know those fields aren't going to be available. In the spring they are, but not after the spring this year, and not for the next 3 years beyond that. So Ralph, then you might want to address what you're doing, what's happening with Legion and senior baseball.
What we opted to do there, rather than wreak havoc with having the two Legion teams now start to compete for playing time on both Adams and Long Hill, and that's part of the reason why the work is being done at Long Hill. We've opted to elect, at least for this season, to play a total away schedule. And to be fair, we've taken ownership, Legion, and we've been pleased that we've been allowed to do that over the summer. And we just didn't think, as a board on the Legion folks, that now we're going to start to infringe on what other people are doing for the. They've been nice enough to let the Legion program be. So we're just going to, at least for this year, play a totally road schedule for
Where do you
both
guys
teams.
practice?
Where will we practice? That's we usually play 5 games a week in Legion, so we're not really practicing. We have tryouts beforehand. Starts right after the high school season starts. And if we did, we'd work it out. They've been so cooperative with us in the past that if I needed a night or a Saturday or a Sunday to get a tryout or a practice in, I don't think it's going to be a problem. And we're going to that scheduling meeting with the state for Legion on Sunday. And I'm going to tell them up front, hey, assume all the games are away. However, if that date gets delayed, where they're not gonna start the high school until late July, my season's in a 6-week season, we do 2 weeks in June, 4 weeks the whole month of June, and 2 or 3 weeks in July, and we're done. I'm gonna reserve the right to move games back to Guilford High School, only if it's available. But we're planning on playing everything away. So that's and I think that was fair and equitable to everybody. I don't want to disrupt the Guilford baseball kids, the Babe Ruth kids. It's just not worth it. So that's what we're gonna do. And the other thing we brought up, Rick made it very, very clear, as we have as a commission in the past talked about, if you're gonna run or sponsor any kind of camp,
Good.
it gets run and registered through Guilford Parks and Recreation. So. Okay, you all set, Rick? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. B, Barbara and Sue?
Jacobs Beach, there was a pre-bid meeting, about 12 contractors attended. The bid opening is February 8th, and certainly out of those contractors that do bid, flying around, they'll have to qualify if those contractors meet the criteria. So certainly you'll lose some, I would think, out of that, depending on how many bid also. And I think, Rick, you mentioned most are local that had attended that meeting.
Local
Certainly
at
not.
Clinton to North Branford, North
Right.
Haven, pretty much most of them were in this area. There's
This
one out
area.
in New York somewhere, I think, but most of them are pretty close.
Are there various trades that bid on it, or just like,
Well,
Or
not
just
the-
one, like
the
construction
bid is until
managers?
Friday, but at the meeting, yeah, there were people who clearly will probably not bid on it, but might want to team up with somebody, like maybe they're more carpentry related, and they might want to latch on to somebody who's a site guy and, hey, I'll do the boardwalk and the bathhouse, but I can't do the parking lot.
Right. Combination.
But the meeting was down there at the beach, and, you know, Will and John gave the presentation about the whole thing, what we're doing, and, you know, the whole format for the phase one, and there really weren't too many questions. Most of them just kind of, you know, Will and John did as always, they explained it very
pretty
well.
straightforward?
Yeah.
When's the bid opening?
Friday.
Friday.
What time?
I think it's 11.
Either one of you planning on attending?
I can't be there, I'm at school.
I didn't know,
Oh.
so,
Well, if you want to, you know, I might just show up.
okay.
It's basically, if nothing happens at
Yeah.
that point, you
I'd
just get
just
the
like to
list
see
of
what-
everybody, and, you know,
Yeah.
that's it, and then, you know, we see who's pre-qualified and check the references and so on. And they would have to be awarded by the Board of Selectmen, you know, whenever their next meeting is after that.
Right.
What time did you say it was?
It's at 11.
I might be 11.
I can't.
And then 11:30, the same
Oh,
day,
I just-
we have a bid opening for another Jacobs project, and that's the ones that clean up after the storm Sandy. Jim Porley put those specs together, and that's for like cleaning up the playground and the sand that is washed on, you know, about 20 feet onto the parking lot, pushing that back to where the edge was, clean up around the boat racks, and that bid opening is at 11:30 the same morning.
Is it the community
Town
center?
hall.
No, it's at Town Hall,
At Town Hall.
Selectmen's meeting room.
That's it. That's it.
Condensing units.
They have not only been ordered, I think they have arrived. They're not here. They're at Commercial Air storing them because we don't really have a place to put them here anyway until they're ready to put them in. But I spoke with them last week, and they're supposed to be doing some preliminary work this week, where they're going to come in and they have to start doing some things with the piping, and they have to drain out all the Freon in the pipes back there, and that takes a while. Get all that out. You have to capture it and make sure it's all encapsulated and so on. So their plan was to start doing that this week. And that, like the project for the Long Hill, I believe the deadline was April 1st to have it completed by. So that's our.
Oh, good,
No
before the
April
hot
Fools.
weather.
It's an ambitious
Yeah,
project.
before the hot weather starts, absolutely. So
D,
that's working.
Chittenden Park Boardwalk.
As we said earlier, we got we're thankful to the Guilford Foundation for the $10,000 grant, and we have $25,000 grant from a state source, and Will Thompson and I are looking into another grant source from the state that's specifically for trails and trail endings, and he contacted somebody at that office, and they said they were strongly encouraging us to apply for that grant. So we may get some more money for that project.
Did they
And
indicate how much for that one?
I'm not sure. I don't know what the dollar amount is on that. Will looked into it a little bit more than I did. But he and Claire Kane from the Connecticut Forest and Park Association and I are meeting tomorrow morning to discuss where we're going from here. Will has already done a lot of preliminary work. In conversation with him today, we're working on kind of fine tuning the budget for the project. And a lot of it depends on what kind of soils are there. So I think his next step is going to have some soils tests done, which determines how the boardwalk gets anchored. There are two or three different ways to anchor it, and depending on what's down there, will determine for him what he's going to design for the anchoring of that. And he doesn't know yet until we do those soils samples. So I think he's going to probably do that next.
Okay, along those lines, the year end is coming up. We have another couple of months. One of the things I mentioned at the last meeting is I think we as a commission and you as a department need to start blowing our own horn. If you can get all yours, get together a list of the significant accomplishments, i.e. what we had done during the hurricane and everything else during the last year. I'd love to collect that data, and then we as a commission will send a letter off to the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance and whomever else, just to, they know what we do on an everyday basis, but I really think we've had some significant accomplishments last year that if we don't blow our own whistle, nobody's going to blow it for us. So I'd like to do that.
Ralph, actually, it's a pretty good time because I'm working on the annual report, which I actually have to have in this week. And in there, I usually list all the stuff
That's
from
great.
the last year, so
Yeah.
I'll have a lot of that.
Good. And then we'll just I'll draft it up and send it to all the commissioners, and then we'll sign it and decide who we want to send it to. I'd appreciate it. With that done, the budget?
The budget.
Just that we submitted it, and Ralph and I went to the budget presentation to the Board of Selectmen. I think probably almost the entire Board of Finance was there too, Ralph, don't you think?
Very interesting.
Ralph didn't wear his zoot suit and his top hat. I thought he was going to, but he didn't. So he usually tries to wow and dazzle them with his
Didn't work.
attire.
Hadn't worked in the past. I tried something new.
The shorts didn't do it, huh?
No.
I think you shouldn't have worn that Speedo bathing suit, Ralph. But the budget workshop the Board of Finance hearing is March 5th, which I think we'd probably have a meeting probably right before that, I guess. Or no, I think it might be the same night, actually. Usually the hearing is on Monday, I think. If not, it's Tuesday, maybe it's the day before, but it might be Tuesday. So anyway, that's the hearing date, and then the workshops are March 7th and 11th. So we'll see how we do at that point.
Be advised that I thought that the reception that they got with respect to the amount of work we did put into the budget and, talking about zero-based budgeting and everything else, I thought the budget was well received. We had some ancillary comments after the presentation about some concerns in particular from a member of the Board of Finance, but nothing that I think is going to cause any significant problems with the Park and Recreation budget for the next fiscal year. So I thought Rick did a great job, and they seem to be pretty well pleased.
Good.
F, defense.
Again, update on that. I think I mentioned at the last meeting that we were out to bid on that, and the bid was awarded to Fence World from Madison for $10,333. And this is the fence that's on the north side of the building, that wood fence. You can't see it tonight, probably, but they've already been here last week, taking all the fences gone. They can see
It's gone.
parts are laying down.
What was left is gone.
I told Dr. Samal, he's a dentist in next door here, and
We extracted the fence.
well, almost close. Yeah, that's better, Ralph. I didn't think of that one, but I said, you're a dentist. If I look out here, it looks like a bunch of missing teeth. He's laying down. But I had been keeping him apprised over the last couple of months anyway. Let him know that, hey, we're on top of this. We're going to bid it out, and so I contacted him, let him know the bid was awarded, and hopefully next few weeks they're going to start doing. And actually, like I said, last week they already came and took everything down. The posts they left up, only because there would be holes there. They didn't want to leave open holes in case somebody's walking out there or whatever. So they'll be coming down too, and it's going to be all new. And this is something we're submitting with the with FEMA, so we expect reimbursement for this project.
Same fence going back up? Or
Exact same
different
thing. Yeah, it's gonna be a wood fence, same type, cedar.
Mhm.
What we are doing is we're gonna pre-seal it, though. You know, Will Thompson and Steve Nydorf both suggested we should do that. That did add a little bit to the cost. I think it added about $2,500 maybe, or something like that to
But
the
if it
cost.
adds life to the fence, that's the
Exactly.
important thing.
Yeah, so we decided to do that. So that was in the specs. So they may be doing that, they may be having it, maybe they have it now and are pre-sealing it, you know, before they can put it up anyway. But they know it's something we want to get done as soon as they can get to it. But at least they took out the eyesore that was there.
Yeah, it was bad.
Gee, 20th anniversary of the community center, 20th. Yep, sorry.
Well, Rose, you want to take that one? We met a little bit to talk about this project, or I guess I'll introduce it. I think I mentioned again also at the last meeting that January 15th was the 20th anniversary of the day we moved into this building. And we had talked about doing like a celebration, and we looked at March 29th was the, 1993 was the day we had the grand opening celebration. But that's actually Good Friday. I was hoping to do the same day, but we can't do that. So I think we were looking at the following week, which I think was April 5th, if we do a Friday or if we would do a Sunday. But I think that, you know, if we want to have maybe a subcommittee or something, the commission members working with us on this. Rose and I talked a little bit about it, and just kind of give some direction of what do we want to do. I mean, we're thinking maybe some entertainment, some maybe, I don't know if it's a meal or hors d'oeuvres or.
Depends on if we do it on the weekend, if we do it on a Friday, what's our Friday evening. So we're just throwing things out, but you need to decide.
So we just need
So
some
you-
direction of what we want to do. If you want to do it that day, or do it on a Friday, or whatever, I want to get it booked in, because
Right.
right now we haven't locked in the date to do something.
When is the Easter break for school during that time? Is it before or after?
Before, the break is ooh,
It's that week.
Hold on, I can tell you right now.
I have it, yeah.
I just got an email
it's usually later in April, isn't
from
it?
Guilford
Usually.
before and after. It's April 15th
Yeah,
through the 19th.
usually it comes later.
That's all?
So
4 days?
my suggestion
That's the
would be,
week.
Yeah, that's the whole week, Monday.
I would like to see you leave a Saturday out, either a Friday night or a Sunday afternoon. That's just my thought. I think we'd be more successful in whatever we decide to do.
I think April 5th that I looked at, I think was a Friday, and I think there was nothing scheduled like in the evening there, you know, but again, I don't care if it's a Friday or whatever you folks think, Friday or Sunday, we want to make sure we block it off, block the
When you
time off.
have events on Friday versus Sunday, when do you get a better attendance? Of course, I know it depends on the event itself, but as far as people availability through the past, historically, what's a better,
It'd probably be
well-attended?
better on a Sunday afternoon. I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I'm
Yeah.
gonna suggest, and or make a motion that we begin to plan. Okay, Barbara. go ahead.
Well, just before we start, is it, as we are stewards of the building, and as we are lodged here, but this is a town building, does anyone else have any ideas beyond the commission, you know, with the first select, I mean, is there some kind of a tradition around celebrating buildings in the town?
I don't believe
I
there
never
is.
been to one, I
But we
don't
could,
know.
we'll
Only the
check it
police
right
station
now.
was the last one I remember.
The opening.
When they, you know,
And the police
that was a
department did
10-year.
it?
You know, they
Yeah.
did their own thing.
They did their own thing?
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't want to go forward and then, you know, I guess if we plan a date and we say what we're going to do, then we can let the
Yeah.
powers that be know that
Mhm.
that's what we're planning and invite their suggestions.
Mhm.
And also, I
Speaking
think-
about the first selectman,
What day
obviously.
would that be? What's
It would be April 7th.
April 7th, is that Sunday, I guess?
Yeah.
Now, last time, when the building was open, we had Rosa DeLaura and,
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta
And
come up
we
with
will
So I
a
think-
invite, we will invite. we
Invite
talked
the
about that.
original people
They'll
that
be
were-
invited, the original people,
Yeah.
Ed Meyer,
yeah,
we will invite.
all the
Absolutely.
We should
original.
go back and get as many past commissioners as we can.
Yes,
also,
that as
commission
well.
members.
Maybe the building committee was there to, you know, help
Mhm.
design the
Right.
building.
As a list of invitees,
Yeah.
and then whatever happens after that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think, so do you want, work on that, or do you want additional volunteers
I
to
think
help
we can
out
get
the
some
subcommittee?
help, because staff and me, we're pretty busy.
Judy said she'll help us.
Okay.
And also, I think we need to step up, I think we talked about doing something with GCTV, because
Yeah.
we did find some
Yes.
videotapes, and we've talked about getting those converted maybe to to a DVD and then
The-
putting a show together about our history and
cycle,
stuff
right.
like that.
And there's photos, I mean, there's a lot that we can work on.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Patty in her office, we found a whole boxes of photos. She's been starting to take those out.
Who has?
And Patty, Patty, our receptionist, and taking the photos and making a photo album of anything that has to do with the community center.
Right, but it might be good to just scan them and then get them digitized, and then that could be part of the,
Mhm.
Yep.
You could run it during the program.
Right.
In the background on the screen.
or even up on a big screen as a,
That's what I
as a
mean.
backdrop,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
It's a lot,
backdrop.
Dana.
Yeah.
Birthday cake, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty.
You got it definitely. New business, number 7. Speaking of celebrations, the 375th town anniversary celebration.
I guess I'll start that one too. I went to their meeting
Did you get this
a
stuff?
couple of weeks ago, and there are 4 or 5 signature events, they call them. I hope I get them all, but one of them is going to be a New Year's Eve event, next New Year's Eve of
14?
No, 13.
13,
Well,
this year.
this-
2014,
Yeah.
yeah.
All day.
A first night type
Well,
celebration?
kind of, they don't
It'd
call
be a
that, I think
kickoff.
that's a,
12/31/2013.
correct.
Yes.
From noon to 9, and so we've already blocked off some time in the building here, I think after 1 o'clock. And the plan is to have concerts or some event going on in all the churches around the green, and then something here too. And then there'll be fireworks, I guess from the fairgrounds, I'm not sure of that part, I think, but fireworks will be going on that night. So that'd be the first event. And then there's one in, again, I may not have all the dates right, but April or May, there's going to be a crystal ball at the yacht club.
2013.
That's going to be in March.
14.
2014.
Because I was going to ask about the Citizens Day Parade, too. Are they
2014.
doing anything this year or next year?
And then in June is the Trails Day, where the Chittenden Trail terminus will be dedicated. And I think the plan is to have a parade march up from the Chittenden to Old Whitfield Street. And there's going to be a monument there where there's going to be a reenactment of the Guilford Covenant signing, and a monument dedicated that day for the Covenant. And then there's another event, again, I can't remember what they're calling it, but it's going to be like a Civil War reenactment on the green with some entertainment. I understand that the gentleman that's the conductor of the New Haven Symphony lives in Guilford, and he's going to help put together some music for that evening. They're talking about laser light shows on the trees on the green, and like a really,
What's left of the trees?
yeah, cool event. And then there's one other one that's a muster, I
muster?
guess, like a fife and drum muster. I think at the fairgrounds.
Deep River Muster,
That,
every year.
something's in May, something in June, something's in October. I'm sorry I don't have all the dates and
That's
maybe
okay.
getting them a little bit mixed up, but those are the signature events. But they're gonna have, like the Rotary Road Race is gonna be like the real first kickoff thing after New Year's. In the road race, we're gonna have the 375th logo on the shirt. Our community picnic and fireworks, they're gonna probably pump a little more money into that, so that we can do a bigger fireworks show and help us with the community picnic.
Nice.
But a lot of the idea is, a lot of the events that are already going on, that we do, the library does, the handcraft center, and all the different big events that are already going on in town, the parade, it'll all be tied in. I think they're gonna have one big calendar printed out with all the stuff that's going on for the year. And it's celebrating Guilford, so there's a lot of things that are already happening, but they're doing these other 4 or 5 other, what they call signature events that are gonna really point to the 375th that the committee is working on. And so I think they're looking for some help from our commission, because we're probably involved in one way or another in several of these things. So I think they're looking try to get some volunteers to sit on some of these subcommittees.
So this isn't going to change the Memorial Day Parade or the
No.
fair parade?
No.
Okay, so this is a supplement to that?
Yes.
Right, and I would guess probably the fair parade that year, you know, they always have a theme, the theme's probably gonna be,
350.
yeah, Guilford's
Years
birthday or
ago.
something,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
remember the 350th.
375?
375, I mean, excuse me.
Yeah.
I actually lived here for the 350th.
Yeah, I was here for 350.
Mhm.
Mm.
I must have been too, I just missed it.
So, Rose, you're on one of those committees, right?
I'm on the
aren't you?
crystal ball committee already. So it would be nice to have somebody on the New Year's Eve especially, because we are gonna be using the building. So we need somebody for that and somebody for the others as well, I think would be helpful.
Good.
Plan my schedule.
Next.
And they're meeting actually right now downstairs in the meeting room. They're meeting fairly regularly, you know, with these subcommittees. And so they're pushing ahead, but they're looking for support from, you know, the meeting I went to, they did like an overview of everything they're doing. Each chairman spoke about what they're doing. Then they had separate tables set up down in the Guilford room. And for those who might be interested in helping in one way or another, go to, and I was trying to go to 3 different tables. He said, well, gee, I think we're going to be involved in this, we're going to be involved in this and this. And you know, I was trying to scatter
Yeah,
myself
why don't
between
we
the
see
3
if we can
tables.
identify what subcommittees they have, and we can then, from there, step up with the various commission members to participate. I certainly don't have a
Would it be
problem.
better to
I
have
would
them-
commit to New Year's Eve now, but
Right.
I'd like to see what they're really thinking about doing, so.
Or how about if they make a presentation to us at our next meeting?
Is there an overarching chair?
Yes.
Veronica Wallace.
Okay, and then does each of these 5 events, the signature events, have a chair?
Yes.
Yes,
So if we knew who those were,
we do know.
we do know.
Rick
Yeah,
has it
there's a
all.
chart, yeah,
Okay.
Rick has it all.
yeah.
He has
Yeah.
the dates, he has who the chair is, he has all of that information.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd
So
like to see that.
Maybe if you could email it out, is it
Sure.
emailable?
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't bring it to this meeting, I should have.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, then I mean, like I said, I'm willing to step up for something, but
Yeah.
Same here.
Idea.
Except Rose already got the dance.
That was before. That's from last year.
Sorry, I have a gymnast to pick up.
Actually, no, we did, you know, because remember you talked to me, Rose, we put that all on one sheet. and
Yes,
I
you
thought I
have it
got in
all.
this packet, I guess it didn't, so
You can just email it to us.
we'll email it, yeah. Because we have it, it was on like 3 or 4 different sheets, and Bonnie kind of redid it and put it all in one, so, you
Yeah.
know, it's-
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you just send it to us, we'll have it.
Have you changed my email yet? So I'll make sure I get it.
You got
Um,
the thing from Bonnie, so you should get it.
Did you get,
I got
Did you
Bonnie,
emails?
so that,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
okay. then
I
it's
think we
been
got you
changed.
changed, and so
Okay.
we put your new address, so you got your packet, obviously,
Mhm,
right,
I
yeah.
did.
you got a new email address?
No, same email,
Yeah.
just different.
Oh.
Yeah,
And then I had mentioned about updating the, since we're talking about the website, could we possibly post on our website like a calendar month glance of events for the month? That if you go on that website, it comes up right there showing what the month activities are. I think it'd be nice to be able to just go on that site and see at a glance what's taking place for the month,
mhm.
the day and the time and what it's called, whatever the event is.
Do you mean
Just-
like the classes too, Sue?
No, I don't think the classes,
No,
I just
but
mean,
that's a
you know,
lot.
if there's, you know, certain things, when you
Like
go
special
through.
events.
Easter egg
Yeah.
hunt, chili
Yes,
chili
special events for
cook-off.
the month, whatever
Yeah.
it is, that
Yeah.
people
The chili
might,
cook-off,
Yeah.
yeah.
you
that
know,
kind
if
of
they
stuff.
go on and they see it, they've
I
missed
thought
it
we had
somewhere
something
else.
like that.
There is this, I
I
don't
think the
know whether
special
this
events
is
are
on,
on
but
there, I
the,
think.
coming up for the 55 plus, there's a list.
Yeah, but
But
when
I
you
don't
go on the
know, like,
website, nothing pops
the
up on
rest.
that front page of calendar,
Kept calendar.
you know, calendar events for the month. I think it'd be nice
It would
just
be
to have
helpful.
If I had my cell phone, I
just
could
at a
find out.
glance, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll,
And then-
I'll check with Ellen, I think she could probably do that.
Yeah,
She's good at that stuff.
it doesn't have to be a big thing, just a little box somewhere on the front.
And Sue's response to my question about how can we inform people to, you know, we definitely want to involve the public in the developments at Jacob's Beach. So what is the best venue for that? The webpage, Jacob's Beach Update, and have a little like blurb each month or something?
And Facebook, and we have a lot of people on Facebook
Okay.
now. I don't know how many, but it's.
So if one of us wrote
over
it,
1,000.
Sue or I, or got Will and John to have input or
Mhm.
something, and wrote a little blurb, we just put it on Facebook?
Yep, we could do that. Yeah, that gets out. I mean, because we know, because Ellen right away will say, gee, we already had 40 people say they saw this.
Oh, okay, because, I mean, we're gonna be coming up to another round of needing support
Mhm.
from the public, and an informed public can be a supportive public.
Sure, yep.
As we found out when we did a full court press on the, before we went to planning and zoning,
Mhm.
we got a lot of response on
Mhm.
Facebook and in letters.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay.
Rose, protocol question. I'm just trying to save time here. If we wanted to discuss item B, is that absolutely necessary that that be done in the executive session?
I don't know exactly what we're talking about it for
I
B,
did
so I can't
ask the
really
town
answer that.
attorney, she said we could do that.
We should or could?
You know,
Because then what I'm gonna do is
to
I'm
make it
gonna
easier-
call,
Well,
I'm
it
gonna
was-
close the
So
meeting.
here's,
It was
here's,
written that
here's
way.
what, Ralph,
Close it.
so here's, I will make a motion that we go into executive session. We have to make a motion to go into executive session. So let me make the motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Because I was just trying to save Shannon time. We're out of executive session at this particular point in time, but we'll continue the meeting of February 4th, 2013. Do I have a motion based on what we've just discussed in the executive session? Bob?
I move that we ask the Land Acquisition Commission to pursue our interest in the possibility of acquiring a piece of land, as we discussed, and let them know that we are extremely interested.
Any discussion? Oh, we already had discussion in executive session. Do I hear a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? None, carries unanimously. Next, I hear a motion
that
to
we
adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
So moved.
Motion, meeting adjourned at 8:05 PM. Thank you all.
Hey,